Through the first 5 weeks of the NFL season, we have experienced 4 winning weeks versus a single losing one. As you can see on your screen, last week we posted a 7-6 record against the spread, or ATS, across all NFL picks. Let's wear the dollar chain in order to celebrate those winnings. For week 6, I would like to share 2 official picks with you, along with a couple of unofficial ones for which I am still sitting on the fence. My hope is that it will help you in your decision-making process regarding your NFL bets for the upcoming weekend. Get ready, let's go! Pick number 1 goes to the Buffalo Bills, minus 2.5 points at the Kansas City Chiefs. What the Bills have accomplished thus far in the 2022 season is very impressive. They lead the NFL with a plus 91 point differential. The teams ranking second in that category are not even close, with a plus 47 figure. Buffalo's only blemish is a 21-19 defeat in Miami in Week 3. However, there was nothing to be ashamed of considering the Bills dominated total yardage 497 versus only 212 for the Dolphins. The Bills simply don't have any glaring holes. The same cannot be said about the Chiefs, even though they have performed very well as a whole this year. Kansas City's pass defense ranks 28 in terms of passer rating allowed to opposing QBs. That's a major source of concern when you are about to face Josh Allen and company. If you have been following me for a while, you know I appreciate the revenge factor. In this case, the Bills suffered a devastating playoff overtime loss in Kansas City last year, so they will be looking for some payback. Sure, the Bills beat the Chiefs in KC during the regular season, but that's nothing compared to the anger generated from a postseason defeat. I also like the fact that the Chiefs lose one day of preparation, given they played last Monday night against the Raiders. Again, those are not optimal conditions before a meeting against such a strong squad like Buffalo. I must admit I am worried about the fact that the Bills have lost against the spread the last 5 times they played on grass. Still, I like the Bills to beat the spread in this pivotal AFC matchup. Pick number 2 goes to the Denver Broncos, plus 5.5 points at the Los Angeles Chargers. I believe the line is inflated because of the horrible game we witnessed last Thursday in Denver. However, I sincerely believe the Broncos can play much better this week in what I project to be a tight divisional game. Denver may lose this match, but they won't go down easily against their arch rivals from the AFC West division. Once again, we have a pick that favors us in terms of rest. Indeed, having played last Thursday, the Broncos will benefit from 3 extra days compared to LA. Also, the injury situation might give us an edge. One of the best safeties in the NFL, Justin Simmons, seems likely to be back after missing the past 4 games for Denver. For the Chargers, beat writers are not optimistic about Keenan Allen's chances of suiting up this Monday. Joey Bosa is still out for Los Angeles which is a big blow to their defense. However, we have learned that Russell Wilson is hurt. He has a strained lat muscle, a large muscle in the back under the shoulder blade. That probably contributes to his bad start to the 2022 season. This piece of news worries me. Hopefully he feels better by Monday. Let me continue with more arguments after this short break. I like how these teams match up. Let me explain why. The Chargers ran the ball well last week, but they were facing Cleveland, who have struggled in that department this year. LA's offense is more of a passing unit, and that turns out to be Denver's strength on defense. In fact, they have allowed the 9th lowest passer rating in 2022. Meanwhile, with Russell Wilson struggling and being injured, the Broncos would prefer to run more often. Well, that should be a good option this week, since the Chargers are dead last in the NFL in terms of rushing yards allowed per carry. Finally, did you know that the Chargers hold a 5-13 record ATS the last 18 times they were at home facing a team with a losing record? Give me Denver and the 5.5 points in this contest. The next couple of predictions are not official picks. I am tempted to bet them, but I have not pulled the trigger yet. Lean number 1, the Chicago Bears straight up against the Washington Commanders. Justin Fields was more efficient as a passer last week. He also had a 52-yard TD scamper called back by penalty. Wide receiver Darnell Mooney also woke up with a long reception. Chicago also has a strong duo of running backs with David Montgomery and Khalil Herbert. They seem to be finding some rhythm. Meanwhile, Carson Wentz, averaging 278 passing yards per game, might lead you to believe that things are going fine. But he has already thrown 6 interceptions and has fumbled the ball 6 times. He was lucky enough to have only one of those fumbles being lost, but that is still not reassuring. Please note that Washington has scored an average of 11.7 points over their past 3 games. That's abysmal. I like how Chicago's defense matches up against Washington's offense. The Commanders have not enjoyed much success running the ball this year, so they had to resort to throwing the ball often. However, that fits well with Chicago's defense, whose strength has been its pass defense. They rank 11th in the league in terms of passer rating allowed. Granted, Washington has beaten the spread in each of their last 5 visits at Soldier Field. It's also hard to trust Chicago, given they have posted a 5-11-1 record ATS in their last 17 games. That's why I probably won't bet this game, but if I was forced to do it, I'd take the Bears playing at home on a short week against the Commanders. Lean number 2, I'm taking the Pittsburgh Steelers plus 8.5 points against the Tampa Bay BUCS. The main reason I am not officially wagering on the Steelers is because they have 5 secondaries currently listed as questionable: Cameron Sutton, Minka Fitzpatrick, Terrell Edmonds, and Kello Witherspoon and Levi Wallace. That might change depending on when you watch this video, but that's the situation as of Wednesday morning. Otherwise, I like Pittsburgh to cover this huge 8.5 point spread at home against a Tampa team that has not impressed me that much so far. Tampa's offense has scored the 19th most points in the league, so asking them to win by 9 points or more on the road against an above-average defense is a daunting task. Sure, the Steelers' offense may not score many points either, but in my mind, there is a chance they do put some points on the board. Kenny Pickett wasn't bad in his first NFL start, given he faced the #1 defense in the NFL on the road. He led his team all the way to Buffalo's 30-yard line on 6 occasions. He also has some good weapons around him, so I would not be shocked if Pittsburgh scored about 20 points. In that case, the BUCS would have to score at least 29 for this bet to lose, which won't be easy. Pittsburgh has a history of performing well after allowing tons of points in their previous match. Indeed, after surrendering more than 30 points in a game, they followed up by beating the spread each of the last 4 times they were in this situation. Also note that Tampa has a 2-5 record ATS the last 7 times they were on the road against teams with a losing record. That being said, after the 10-second break, let's discuss my famous free NFL underdog contest, as well as how to receive all the American football picks from a 15-year university statistics professor. Stay tuned, my friend. Do you want me to run my famous NFL underdog contest again this week? Yes? Then let's do it! As always, it is free to enter and you could win $50 US. You must pick 2 underdogs that you believe will win straight up. On your screen, you can see the official point spreads we will use for the purpose of this contest. They are especially useful in order to determine the winner, since the tiebreaker is the person whose 2 dogs won and whose sum of point spreads was the highest. Who was our winner last week? Before I unveil his name, let me mention the good performance of 5 people who had the second best combination of teams. The Texans as 7-point underdogs in Jacksonville, and the Cowboys as 5.5 point dogs at the Rams, for a sum of 12.5 points. A special shout out to our friends Aaron Ong, Prime Shooter, Glenn Castillo, Kushtim Mahmoudi, and Helder Pinheiro, the latter being a very long-time member to receive all of my picks on my Patreon page. Now, the best possible combination of underdogs were the Giants against the Packers as 8-point dogs and the Texans +7 for a sum of 15 points. Again, I'm sorry if I missed someone's picks, but I found 2 persons with those exact selections: J. Torres and LJI. I'm going to flip this coin. If it lands on heads, J. Torres wins, otherwise it's going to be LJI. So let's do it. Oh, that was not good. And this is tails, so the winner is LJI. Congratulations, man. Contact me at winner@professormj.com to redeem your $50 prize. So go ahead and post your 2 underdog picks below in the comment section. Now I'll give you 1 bonus point to all of you who watched this video all the way to the end. When posting your picks, make sure to include the word Fiji in your comment, which is the name of my new puppy golden retriever. That will be our secret code that you did watch the full video, and you'll have an edge over people who skipped parts of the video. So if you have a 3-point dog and a 4-point dog, both winning, instead of receiving a total of 7 points, you will get 8, thanks to the bonus point you get from incorporating the word Fiji in your post. The NFL picks shared on YouTube represent only about 20% of all the betting recommendations I make. If you sign up to my Patreon page, not only will you get the remaining 80% of NFL picks, but you will also access my college football betting tips. So far this year, we have won 17 bets and lost just 11. The cost to get all of my NFL and NCAA football picks is only $24.50 per week, and you can expect to receive between 15 and 20 picks per week. We have close to 200 members on this platform, so come and join us to know all the bets I am personally making. Simply follow the link below in the video's description in order to sign up and hopefully boost your bankroll. I'm Professor MJ, PhD in statistics. Have a good weekend, my friend.